everyone. Thanks so much for tuning into Sin's Workshop. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. So today we're going to be reviewing And Break the Pretty Kings. This has been on my list of books to review. Finally got some time to do it. I give this book a solid 3. I just want to preface this review by saying that because I rarely give books anything below a 4. So when I do, I feel like it's important to note, because usually my go-to is like 4, and then I'll be like, well, maybe it's a 3.2 or 3.5, 3.7, or maybe it's even higher. Maybe I've loved it so much, and I'm like, you know what? No, it's a 5, or it's a 4.5, or it's a 4.75. So I wanted to preface it by saying this is a solid 3, and I wouldn't go beyond that. The story is Korean folklore based, and usually I love Asian folklore. I devour that. If it's mythology based, if it's folklore based, I will devour it, and it's just like gimme, gimme, gimme. It's like candy to me. I love it. My issue with this book is it's not just one thing, unfortunately. Your story follows Mireille, and she is, the next in line to the throne. She is the daughter, and men in this realm are forbidden from having magic. They actually have like runes on their necks to prevent them from using magic, because there is this myth, the inconsistent son. He was a male with magic, so no. Men with magic, bad. So she is the next in the queendom to stop the inconsistent son. And in fact, she's prophesied to stop him. So she becomes the next high horomancer. She can switch, pretty much at her kind of coronation ceremony. She picks, an item based on an ancient queen. And that ancient queen is going to imbue her with another special gift. Her gift as high horomancer is she can switch bodies with a future self of her. So for a couple moments, she's able to slip into the future, and her future self will slip into the past. And it's not even the time travel element that was confusing. I actually quite liked the time travel element of the story, but I think I was looking at reviews to be like, am I the only person who felt this way? And someone, their review said it best. Is it Lina Jiang? Pretty sure it's Jiang. Make sure I'm thinking of the right. Yeah. So Jiang. She's very non-committal in her storytelling. Yes, the future is always changing. I think we kind of get that element of the story. There's nothing that's set in stone, but a lot of the things that she does see in this book do tend to happen. And yet it still seems like she's very detached from everything with Mireille. I struggle to connect to Mireille. I think that's my biggest problem. I struggled so much to connect to the characters in this book. It's not even the lore or the mythology. Although it's very hazy on the inconsistent son. There's not a lot of clarity there. Again, very non-committal on the facts. And I was very confused as to, okay, who is the inconsistent son? And the Nether Queen, and then the Nether King. And I felt like I was getting confused half the time because was I mixing up characters? It's very unclear with the characterization. A lot of characters use multiple nicknames, but you really have to rely heavily on those context clues to be like, okay, who is she talking to? So when I'm spending half my time reading and I'm just like, okay, who is she talking to again? And I'm struggling to find those context clues to be like, okay, she's talking to her brother, she's talking to her guard, she's talking to love interest A, possible love interest B. And I was just very confused half the time with the characters because I couldn't always keep them clear. They weren't like defined or anything, and it was very annoying to me to read them because I don't want to struggle to know who she's talking to. I don't want to struggle with the characters to know what is going on, and because it's important to know like who is she talking to in this context for this reason. because it's important to the plot, because it affects the plot. And even with the love interest, it's very much implied throughout the story that she's going to have a love interest with this guy, or she's going to have a love interest with this guy. And again, very non-committal on the love interest aspect, which is fine. Again, we know I'm not one for romance, but I feel like if you're going to heavily make that implication, especially with lots of foreshadowing with her going into the future, switching with her future self, if you are going to have that implication, then you need to actually define something. You can't just have everything be non-committal, because then what am I supposed to attach myself to? Me as a reader, if you're so non-committal in your storytelling, how am I supposed to attach myself to the story or to the characters or to the plot? It was very, very confusing. You know, the time travel element was the easiest part of the story for me to understand. And then Mireille, oh God, like I said earlier, she is the most frustrating character in the world. You would think there would be some character development, but she doesn't listen, and she is so stuck, like, no, I'm not going to do this. No, I'm not going to do this. And then when everything backfires on her repeatedly, it's like, hey, maybe try listening to other people. Grow. There's nothing defining about her characterization. And she has absolutely no character growth. She is the same as she was in the beginning. And it's very frustrating to me, because I wanted her so much. You think all these moments in time that she's seeing, and all these actions he's taking, and everything that goes wrong, because the book is just one wrong thing going another after another after another. Everything goes wrong for her. You would think she would start to evaluate her characterization, her dynamic with her brother, with her guard, with her friends, with her just country. You would think she would start to grow. She does not grow. I saw no character development, like actual character development from her at all, and I hated that. So again, I was not able to relate to these characters. Like, some of them are funny, sure, but when one of them dies, I was like, oh, she's dead. Okay. I was not emotionally invested at all. And it was really, really annoying to me, because you guys know when I get emotionally invested in a story, like I am there. So it was just very, very frustrating to me to read this book, because, you know, that review on Goodreads, they said it best. It's very non-committal. You know, the pacing it feels all over the place. And this is a debut novel, and it has an interesting story with the plot, but it's just very confusing and hard to follow, and I'm just not able to relate or attach myself to the characters at all. I do not become emotionally invested in any of them at all, unfortunately. So, you know, c'est la vie, such is life. I was just disappointed in this book. And I honestly feel like me giving it a 3 is me being generous, because part of me wants to give it like a 2.5. I just was not able to follow the story at all. It just felt very, very confusing to me. Very confusing. And maybe if I had been able to become emotionally invested in the characters, maybe it would have been less confusing to me. So, you know, that is just my opinion, of course. If you like the book, great. Let me know what you liked about it in the comments below. Otherwise, you know, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your book loving friends. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And you know what? As always, happy reading.